Welcome everybody, and today we're taking a look at the first film in the Jackie Chan's Breakout Hits box set from Arrow Video. This has been newly released. We unboxed it a couple of days ago, and yeah, I'm thankful for all the views that video has had. But yeah, the first film is 1994's Drunken Master 2. So this is directed by Kar-leung, who also I've seen 10 other films from. Favourites from him would be the likes of The 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, Heroes of the East, and Tiger on the Beat. That film, along with the sequel, is also getting a release via imprint, by the way, if you haven't already heard. This is an action comedy kung fu film. Depending on which version you watch, it clocks in at 102 or 100 minutes long. There are actually 202-minute long versions of this film, in fact, on this disc. So, yeah, Jackie Chan stars in this film, of course. I will only mention any of his films for this first film because obviously we have 5 more to look at. But yeah, seen 29 other efforts from him so far. Favourites would be like so Drunken Master, Police Story, and Crime Story. This also stars Tai Lung, who I've seen in 20 other films. He was really rather excellent in the likes of The Avenging Eagle, The Magic Blade, The Sentimental Swordsman, and King Eagle. You've also got Anita Mwai Yim-Fong, who will go on to star in Rumble in the Bronx, which is also in this set. But she was also in The Heroic Trio and The Enforcer, both of which are also from the 1990s. And the director himself also stars in this film. So his directorial debut was actually in 1975, but he was an actor long before then, being in the likes of The One-Armed Swordsman, Return of the One-Armed Swordsman, The Magnificent Trio, and The Trail of the Broken Blade. Now, I'm not saying he was in, major leading roles in all of those films, but it's interesting that he went on from being a actor to then this big time director, and even featuring himself in several of his films. So returning home with his father after a shopping expedition, Wong Fei Hong is unwittingly caught up in the battle between foreigners who wish to export ancient Chinese artifacts and loyalists who don't want the pieces to leave the country. Fei Hong must fight against the foreigners using his drunken boxing style and overcome his father's antagonism as well. So, as a whole, this still comes across as a celebration of action films of old and a satisfying send off to more traditional filmmaking before Chan would go on to go all in on more modern action techniques with all of its large set pieces and violence. Now, that's not to say that he never did those before this. The Police Story 1, 2, and 3, for instance, were all big action films at the end of the day, and obviously lots of Crime Story as well, and multiple other ones. But it feels like, as far as the films that I've seen from Jackie Chan, that he wouldn't really do anything like this after this, to be honest, because this doesn't really have any gunplay in it, no explosions, no massive set pieces, no big chase scenes or anything like that. It's more about the hand-to-hand combat and such, and the choreography that is therein. And yeah, so ultimately it feels like it's a little bit more restrained in that regard. Now, I guess you could say with Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights that there is certain more a bit more restraint in terms of some of the action in those films. But they far more lean into comedy than this one, whereas this is a decent balance between the two of those genres. And at the end of the day, there are still some set pieces in those films. So yeah, I'd say this is ultimately the last of these kind of more down low-fi, I guess you could say, downbeat, restrained is a word basically, of these action films that Jackie Chan would do in the 90s. So yeah, like I said, this offers up an effective balance between its action and humour, which is in part thanks to Chan himself being excellent in both of those roles. The supporting cast is also great. It is well paced. The action scenes are quite frankly brilliant. I really like the ones at the beginning where they're really rather quite confined, either underneath the train that Chan is nearly missing, or underneath like some like pier kind of structure or something like that. So yeah, I like the close quarter combat that is in this, but there are some scenes that are obviously in much bigger um, sets, and yeah, but all of that choreography is nonetheless really rather impressive. The production is solid, is overall engrossing, and it is an entertaining effort throughout as well. So, yeah, this gets a 4.5 out of 5. It's definitely one of my favourites from Jackie Chan from the 90s. I think only Crime Story would currently rank alongside this as far as films I've seen from him from this period. But still, yeah, this is on nonetheless on 4K. First time actually seeing it on 4K. Because because I've only ever had this on Blu-ray in the past. So yeah, there is a disc again, as we showed off in the unboxing video. Yeah, this film, along with the other ones, do have reversible sleeve artwork with the original ones on it. Obviously, we also do have the new artwork as well, which was done by Tom Ralston, the new artwork. And yeah, like I said, there are 3 versions of this film on this disc. So we have the uncut 102-minute Hong Kong cut, which is the one I saw, the 100-minute international cut, and the American cut retitled The Legend of Drunken Master, which also clocks in at 102 minutes long, the same as the Hong Kong cut. But I do believe that there are some scenes that have been changed in that. And then you have several audio options as well. You got the original lossless Cantonese, Mandarin, and English mono for the Hong Kong cut. And then you have the original English mono for the international cut. And then you have the original English DTS HD MA 5.1 surround audio for the Legend of Drunken Master version. And then you have optional English subtitles and subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing for each. So yeah, I watched the Hong Kong cut with the English mono audio. Although I will say this, there is a scene towards the end where it does flip back, I believe, to Cantonese, purely because I don't think that scene was ever dubbed in English for any version. So yeah, just bear that in mind when you are watching this. It will, for a few minutes towards the end, flick back to Cantonese. But yeah, the 4K is in 2160p Ultra HD in Dolby Vision HDR10, and yeah, it looks and sounds really, really good. Obviously, the mono audio isn't going to sound the greatest. I imagine the 5.1 surround sound will sound even better. But I had no issues with the mono audio at all, and yeah, especially when it comes to the action scenes themselves. And yeah, we have a bunch of extras on here as well. We've got brand new commentary by martial arts cinema experts Frank Yang and FJ DeSanto. Before the Breakout, a new featurette in which stuntman Wang Yao, academic Dr. Wayne Wong, and critics David West and James Mudge look back at Jackie Chan's earlier career. And then we've got Breakout Part 1, so I imagine it's going to be several of these parts to this box set. And that's a new featurette in which Wong, West, Mudge, and stuntman Mars look back at the film. Deadly When Drunken, a new interview with co-writer Young Kai-chi. Tipsy Tribulations, a new expanded interview with stuntman Mars. Period Postures, a new interview with academic Dr. Lars Larman on the historical context behind the film, because obviously there is a great deal of mentions in this film about, you know, colonialism and stealing of artifacts from Eastern kind of countries to be taken back to the West. Obviously, the British are the bad guys in this film, being the ones that want to steal these artifacts for their museums, and yeah, that is understandable. Then we've also got Drunken Defiance, a new appreciation of the film by martial arts cinema expert Ricky Baker. Then an archive interview with Jackie Chan filmed for the American release in the year 2000. Alternate Mandarin drinking scene contains standard definition inserts. So there is a part where Chan gets really rather drunk after annoying his father, and he ends up making up a song while drunk. And yeah, that was originally done for Cantonese, but obviously it was dubbed in English as well. But there's an alternate version of it in Mandarin as well. Then you got Texas outtakes, Chinese New Year messages recorded by Jackie for the Taiwanese and Malaysian openings, trailer gallery, image gallery, and then the artwork that I've shown you already here. So yeah, overall a really rather fantastic film. It was one I'd already seen before, so I knew going into this box set that I already had one of my favourite Jackie Chan films to watch again. But still, a real treat to see it in 4K. It looks really, really good. But again, it has been a while since I saw the Blu-ray that we got that I reviewed for HMV back in September of 2023. So yeah, not too sure how much of an improvement it is, but it is nonetheless an improvement regardless of the amount. And in terms of the versions, so this booklet that comes with the box set does talk about the versions of the films themselves. So yeah, for the original Hong Kong cut, the original Cantonese mono is the default option, and it's presented here in 2 versions: the original theatrical mix, which has been remastered from original sound elements, and an alternate home video mix, which presents a cleaner sounding version of the same dub, but with some changes in the music. Also included for the Hong Kong cut is a Mandarin dubbed mono audio. And for that Mandarin drunks singing scene, the lip sync is especially loose, which is because the Mandarin language prints released in territories like Taiwan featured an alternate edit of the scene with Jackie singing a different song in Mandarin. So unfortunately, the film elements could not be found to restore this version in full, but you can find the Mandarin version of the scene in the bonus features on the disc. That's been reconstructed using standard definition sources. So it also says, although the film received limited distribution outside Asia during the 1990s, it was usually in a slightly abridged international cut that removed the last scene entirely due to concerns that the final gag was too politically incorrect for Western audiences. This is a version that was originally dubbed into English in 1994, known as the export dub. Two viewing options exist on the disc for the export dub, either alongside the Hong Kong cut, reverting for Cantonese for the last scene, like I said, as it was never dubbed, or with the international cut, which also features alternate English language opening and closing credits. And then the US cut, retitled The Legend of Drunken Master, is notable for being the only version to feature Jackie Chan's own voice himself, so he's not dubbed at all in this one, or in this version. So Chan recorded the dub in 1999 alongside a voice cast that included a pre-Malcolm in the Middle Bryan Cranston as part of a wholly revised 5.1 surround soundtrack with different sound effects and a new score by Michael Wanbacher. The last scene was partially reinstated in this version, but still ends with a freeze frame before the final reveal. So, yeah, that's all interesting. Obviously, a lot of these films in this box set, I think all of them, in fact, have alternate versions, you know, different audio tracks and such. So, it's really cool that they've been able to present so many different versions of each film. And then in terms of the restoration, it's been exclusively restored for this collection by Arrow Films. The original future film camera negative elements have been used as the primary source materials for this work, but extensive research was also undertaken to locate and identify additional materials to restore original logos, credits, cutscenes, and reconstruct alternate release versions. And yeah, like I said, the films are presented in 4K resolution in HDR10 and Dolby Vision. So the Hong Kong cut of Drunken Master 2 is presented in its original 239:1 aspect ratio with Cantonese mono. And the international cut is also in the same aspect ratio as well as the Legend of Drunken Master. So, yeah, all in all, this booklet is very, very handy to know what has happened to certain versions of each of the films. Obviously, there are also write-ups in that book as well that I talked about in my unboxing video. But nonetheless, yeah, a really, really great film. Excellent one to start this box set off with, even though I have seen it before. But if you haven't seen it, then yeah, you're going to have a really, really enjoyable time with it, I hope. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen Drunken Master 2 before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.